crypto. We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Yeah. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
I said I think the microphone needs to be further away. Someone give me a Diet Coke. Sorry, just kidding. You guys know Chris Berman? Okay. Guys, welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben, and our mission statement here at BitBoy Crypto is to empower you to find financial freedom through crypto assets. If that sounds like something you want, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell for notifications. It helps us out a ton. We're going to be looking at a lot of great stories today. We're going to be looking at, it feels like every day it feels more and more like maybe we've bottomed. And I think there's a lot of evidence showing that. That doesn't mean for sure that, we are definitely going to see that. Someone hates Chanel. I see someone in the chat hates Chanel. So Chanel, it's a makeup brand, I believe.
How do you know they're not talking about Chanel West Coast?
They could be talking about Chanel West Coast. If you want to check her out, you can check out MTV at any time of the day. But the point here is we're looking at a lot of stuff that I think is bullish. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, we're definitely going up. I want to be very careful with that message. Nothing is confirmed. But things are grinding right now. And the volatility has kind of left for the moment. I know we were talking at the gym yesterday, TJ, and we said, it feels like in forever, this has been the first time in forever that there's just not been any movement on the charts. I will go and look at CoinMarketCap. Now, we did move a little bit overnight, but I'll go look at CoinMarketCap and I'll be like, or TradingView, I'll be like, Bitcoin's at, $37,200. 3 hours later, I'll pull it up and be like, Bitcoin's at $37,100. It almost seems to stand still for hours at a time. More so than we've seen in a while. But then, TJ, what did you say to that?
Well, I said, yeah, feels that way right now, but definitely, you said it's never felt like it's been this long. I said, definitely not never. It's felt like it stayed at 6,700 forever.
Oh my gosh.
7,200, 7,300 from weeks and weeks and weeks, where it was exactly like that. You pull out your phone, prices, 7,120. You pull out your phone a week later, it's 7,200. Yeah. So that's, standing still.
Those are crazy times. Doesn't 2019 feel like just one big blur with one little blip in the middle of it?
It feels like forever ago.
Yeah, I tell you what, it sure does. So also someone says hashtag fire Whoopi and cancel the view. Why would you guys want to cancel that great show? I was watching a very interesting video. You guys know I meant to put something about this today. And I want to talk about censorship for a second. Censorship is becoming such a problem in the United States. And it's getting to the point where it really parallels Soviet propaganda in the 80s. It really is that bad here sometimes. I watched a very interesting video. Of course, you guys probably know everything that's going on with Joe Rogan right now, where, you've got all these artists that are dropping off of Spotify. Now, they're all artists people don't really care about. I mean, Neil Young, maybe some of you guys that are older care. The other two, I've never even heard of who they were, like maybe Joni Ernst or something. I have no idea who that is. And somebody else I've never heard of. Somebody, I saw a meme the other day yesterday that said, I can't remember what his name was in Home Alone, but the role that John Candy played is a polka player. It says, he is now pulled out from Spotify. People are pulling out Spotify left and right, and this could become a thing that eventually could force Joe Rogan off of Spotify, which I would say good. I think he probably regrets that decision by a long shot, but he made a video in the last 24 hours, where he was basically discussing censorship and how the momentary bias of right now stifles people getting messages out. We look at things that happen with the pandemic. We're not a pandemic channel for sure. We're not going to talk about that. We go too far into detail. But there are things today that are considered facts that 1 year ago were considered misinformation. And I think that's where the slippery slope of censorship is so dangerous. Whatever people are telling you right now is the gospel truth, but 1 year from now, it may totally change. So, this is one reason why I love decentralization. I love Bitcoin. I love crypto, because we're more for freedom of expression. And, even though, some of the biggest proponents of free speech, like Howard Stern, are now against it, I think that we need to give people platforms to share different ideas. I think this whole idea where, YouTube is blacklisting videos now, on just, random conspiracy theories, like, this is crazy to me. We need to have YouTube. We really need an alternative to YouTube, for sure. It doesn't exist yet. But, this is something that's going really big in the media right now. And I think it's something that, we all need to be thinking about where are we putting our money? Who are we listening to? And what kind of world do we want to live in 10 to 15 years? Because right now it is a very, very, very scary place. So I'd love to have Joe Rogan on the channel. I'd love to talk to him about some of this stuff, or go on his show or whatever, talk about the freedom that crypto and decentralization brings. I think this is an area he needs to get further into, because this could be his saving grace one day. I remember he did, just one last thing on that. I remember one time Joe Rogan said something so powerful. He said, podcasting is the last truly free form of expression on the internet. And what he meant by that is no one can stifle a podcast. And then he went and signed with Spotify. So, Apple Music could remove podcasts, but you can still create your own independent website, especially with like maybe a decentralized name service and stuff like that. So I know that's going, raging everywhere right now. And I think, guys, you should be in favor of freedom. I don't think it's too complicated. So, all right, let's jump into the show here. YouTube, 1.45 million subscribers. Don't forget to subscribe to our other channels. Frankie Candles won't be coming on today. But we're going to talk charts a little bit. We got Meta Money over here popping off. You guys make sure to go hit that up as well. NFT update, BitBoy channel. We got some big ideas for some videos on that channel very soon. And big announcement for you guys. Blockchain Backer will be coming on the show.
Hey, all
Make
right.
sure to subscribe to his channel there with this account. Blockchain Backer will be coming on the show. A lot of you guys said he called the top. I reached out to him on Twitter. He responded. He should be coming on, I believe, next Tuesday at 11:30. So I know a lot of you guys like that, and we're really looking forward to having a chat. He's in recovery himself. He's been in recovery for a while, so I think that's some pretty cool stuff. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We're going to actually make a tweet today and have you guys retweet it. So it's going to be very exciting stuff. We collected your Michael Saylor questions yesterday. Don't forget to hit us up on Instagram, 430K. A good place to hit up some of our memes and, clips. And, of course, it says an error occurred. Here's Dad Jokes for the win. Well, that was going to be it. This is my personal Instagram account. I don't really do crypto stuff over here, but I did take a picture of our studio the other day. Make sure to follow this account, and you get to know who I am personally. So 2.7 million on TikTok. Let's jump into the chart, or jump into the markets here. We've had I think yesterday we were coming in right at $1.8 trillion in market cap, according to CoinGecko. Yeah, somebody said Cameron Winklevoss threatened to remove poetry from Spotify. I did see that. I thought that was pretty funny. 3.4% increase over yesterday. Volume still extremely low. I think this is really where the troubling part of this comes in. We're not seeing volume on a bounce. We're only seeing volume when price dumps. Bitcoin dominance coming in about the same, 39.6%. And we did have a special request to bring back the Paraguay joke because a lot of people really missed it. And so anyways, look how expensive this is. Holy smokes. This would be 186 Paraguays to send an ETH transaction. Looking at Bitcoin now, we've got a Bitcoin coming in at 38,925. I noticed this morning when I woke up, it was 38.9, and it's held. I think a lot of people are looking at this 39.6 number, but I don't believe in 39.6. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I believe in 40,000, right? Like if we get above 39.6, but we get rejected at 40. I mean, 40 is a psychological number. It's a place a lot of people are going to put in sell orders. And we'll talk. I've seen some people talking about a dead cat bounce. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Ethereum at 2786. Man, I tell you what, if you are looking for a reprieve and you are looking for a little bit of a movement on some of these things to exit the market, I'm not telling you to do that. We're not doing that right now. We did when Bitcoin went up, back to 38.5 after the Fed meeting. We did pull maybe a couple $100,000 out, and that's the thing. You just got to take small profits. For the percent of our portfolio, that's very small. But this is the lesson. As we go up, if you're in profit, you should be taking profits. This idea that you're going to sit back and you're going to call the very top with your entire stack, it's probably not going to happen. So I think a lot of us regretted not taking more profits on the way back up. So do that. You'll thank yourself if the prices go back down. We got Binance Coin at 384 up for the day. Solana up. Some pretty big news today we're going to talk about. Cardano up about even for the week. XRP back up to 62 cents. Polkadot is now past Terra Luna and is back in the top 10 as Terra Luna has slid down to number 10. Shiba Inu, is this one ever coming back? A lot of people are starting to ask that question. It may not be fair to ask that question considering a lot of stuff is down, but you gotta sit here and you gotta think to yourself, what happened to Dogecoin? Dogecoin, price moons. Dogecoin millionaire, no longer a millionaire. The price never came close to touching all-time highs in the second half of Bitcoin's run in 2021. So when you think about that and you're thinking about Shiba and all the hype that was in Shiba, and you think that the retail investor is not really in right now, I don't really see where your hope is for it to go, for Shiba to reach new all-time highs if it follows similar to what we saw from Dogecoin. Big difference in Shiba is it doesn't have a front man obviously Dogecoin does with Elon Musk. So that's what's going on with the market. Let's look at the biggest gainers of the day here.
Did sand move? Some people were saying sand pumped.
I don't see it on here. It's not a big pumper. Do you see it?
No, I guess they were wrong.
Let's see where it is. We are going to be talking about Sandbox a little bit. It's only up 0.3%. It's up 31.8% for the week, though. So must have really moved. We're going to be looking at that here in a minute. We're going to get into some arcane research stuff. Oh, and yeah. So I signed up for that. Signed up for their newsletter. It's really, really, really good.
That's Arcane Bear, or is that
no. I don't know what the relevance of it. Doesn't arcane mean old? Is that what arcane means?
Usually has a magic.
What's arcane? Is that? Is there a definition? Is that an actual word?
Yeah. Understood by few, mysterious or secret.
Okay, yeah. There you go. So it's secret research. So there you go. I was thinking of archaic. Very similar word there. All right, so we got Mina Protocol, Solana. Looks rare. Man, I wish we had some of that. I wonder if we do. Through NFT update. Maybe we do. I don't think we do. So looks rare, crushing it right now. Really good. Elrond having a good bounce back week. And when you look at the weeks here, you're seeing there are some good movers over the last week. We have looks rare, Flow, and man, I tell you what, we met with the Players Lounge folks yesterday. Aaron Murray and other former Georgia players came up here to the new studio. We're really excited. It looks like we're going to be working with those guys going forward here pretty soon. Man, the things they said about Flow, the things they said about working with that blockchain, it makes me think that may be the only chain to really work with going forward if you're going to have a big NFT push.
Well, I was going to say they definitely have a huge advantage when it comes to dropping NFTs specifically, because there's nobody close to that level of experience from the users and then Flow.
We have never done any NFT launch that did not crash a platform. They launched their 10,000 or 5,000 piece collection, sold out in 3 hours, did not crash the platform. So that gave us a lot of encouragement for definitely for Flow. So that may be one. The problem with Flow from a price perspective is their diluted market cap. So if you go to CoinMarketCap and check it out, and I'm not fudding the project, I'm just saying this is something that has kept us from really going in from a price perspective. We love it from a project perspective. But if you look at the diluted market cap, it's $9 billion. And when you look at their actual market cap, it's only $2 billion. So, that's a lot of market cap floating out there in the diluted range that could eventually put some downward pressure on the price. So I think Flow's a great blockchain. I think we're going to probably try it and experiment with it going forward some. But I'm not saying like Flow's an incredible, from a price perspective. And I think we'll look at it a little bit later. A lot of your best projects out there, they're not that they don't care that much about the price of the token. That's really a hallmark of like an immature project, immature community, where all they care about is the price. That'd be like if we came on and we talked about XRP, but we only talked about the price. We didn't talk about all the utility. We didn't talk about the Ripple net. We didn't talk about the new chain they've got for NFTs. We didn't talk about Flare Network. We didn't talk about the case. All we talked about is the price, So that's one reason why so many people are bullish on, let's say, the XRP price, is because of the fundamentals going on behind it and the adoption. So, all right, let's check out the charts here. This is the Bitcoin 3-day chart. And this is the ByBit chart. You guys can see, I know this has become a meme at this point, but we do have the double green dot cluster down here. I'm not saying that that's going to be super bullish or it's going to play out, because what we're finding is in a mini downtrend, or maybe a larger downtrend, they're not popping the same. These represent a bottom. They don't necessarily represent the bottom. However, I would say on this 3-day chart, when you are looking at this, and if you were to take this line here, the Frankie candles drew for us, and you were to expand that out, you would see we have pierced that. We have pierced that with a wick. Now, we've pierced it with a wick a couple times, but a move up above this would be absolutely huge. Then we come over here, we look at the week chart. I mean, this is my favorite chart to look at recently. And the main reason would be why this is the number one thing we are watching here we're watching here kind of as a channel, as an entity, as, our trading team, everything what we're looking at right now. And you can see we are above this downtrend here. Guys, don't forget to smash the likes. Helps people come in. If you guys like the chart analysis, you like Crypto Watch, you like when we talk about, the price of Bitcoin maybe going up. We talk about fundamentals. We talk about, kind of some more touchy subjects here in crypto. Make sure to smash that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help out the Bit Squad. Make sure if you're watching on mobile, I say it every day because it's a little tricky. You got to hit the X, go out of the mobile chat. The like button will appear. Press that and then come back in. If you're watching on a smart TV, I know a lot of people are these days. Make sure to click the 3 green dots at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Hit more actions, more options, react, and then like the video. Like I said, the number one thing you can do to help out the channel, to help people learn more about crypto. But back to this. The number one thing that we're looking for is this VWAP. Now, the VWAP is the yellow. With market Cipher, VWAP stands for volume weighted adjusted price, or projection. I can't exactly remember what it stands for, but it represents the actual like volume of these projects, the real volume. It's adjusted based on all kinds of metrics. Market Cipher uses a very specific custom VWAP that's represented by this yellow line. If you want to know how these dots, like this dot here, this red dot, when these pop up, it's volume weighted average price that was adjusted, but average price. I thought it might be adjusted because I know it's custom for Market Cipher. But the point is, whenever you see these dots, this is going to be when we're having the VWAP cross over the zero line in one way or the other, okay? So we will eventually be getting a small green dot at the bottom of this as we look for this VWAP to curve up and cross that zero line there. This is the moment that we're waiting for to really say confidently that we've bottomed and things are going to be going up here. So, this is what we're watching. We're very in tune with this. Can't wait to see what happens. If you guys have been following Atom, it has been struggling a little bit of late as it was on an uptrend. It's broken down out of that. I know we talked about that a lot. You can use Market Cipher to look at a lot of this stuff. You look at the XRP price at 62.5%. You can see it just touched off of a very key support line. Let's see. Is there anything else? What's going on with Polkadot? Polkadot's going up, maybe? Not necessarily. That's the weekly. Let's go look at the daily. I noticed that Polkadot was trending yesterday. So, it looks like maybe we've hit a bottom with Polkadot as well. So when you look here at the chart for Polkadot, going back to we had the run up here, this is definitely showing signs of a bottom here for Polkadot. So Polkadot's one we're pretty interested in going forward. We will have these side chains. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on. Signs of Moon. Before we do signs of Moon, though, I do want to show a sign of bear. And this is MM Crypto. You guys know Chris.
That's funny.
He's flying economy for the bear market without a mask.
Look at him go.
How did he do it? How does this guy do it? Look at this guy.
That's what he's thinking.
He's like, oh, I only had the audacity to pull my mask beneath my nose. This guy, he's got cojones. I like that. I just like this picture. The number one thing I found interesting about this picture is this is the most boring, bland face we've ever seen from Chris.
Yeah.
You know, you can feel the pain inside of the muscles of his face trying to be relaxed and trying to be mundane. I can feel it. I think that takes more effort from him.
Yeah.
Than,
he's always got a smile on his face.
He always does. We love Chris. Chris is a great guy.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we talked about this story. 51,000 Bitcoin just moved onto Binance today. Now, this would have been 2 days ago when this was published. This was a bad sign. We were looking at this, and this was like, okay, well, price could dump. You know, I remember right before the dump in November, or maybe it was in December when it happened, we covered a story that all this money was flowing onto exchanges and nobody was paying no one was paying attention. And then all of a sudden the price just dropped out, you know? And it was one of those things where it was like, we saw the sign, it was right there. Now, I don't know when this edit occurred, but this is what I want to show you guys about this story. 51,000 just moved on to Binance today. 30,000 of those coins had already backed off. They're already back off the exchange. So not sure exactly what that was about, but that's pretty bullish. That means that money's not floating there, you know, waiting to, move down. So pretty interesting stuff there. We did see that. Now, this is arcane research. I want to be clear here. We always disclose when things are sponsored and things like that. This is not sponsored in any possible way. Arcane Research is a service I signed up for because I was noticing in a lot of news articles, they're referring back to Arcane Research, and a lot of tweets are referring back to it. So I was like, what is this about? I signed up for the service. I don't have an affiliate link for you guys or anything like that. I just want to say it's like a weekly newsletter kind of deal. It's excellent. There's a lot of good information. Makes me, kind of think about what we want to do in terms of doing, souped up newsletters in the future. But I wanted to start here for today because this is really, I'm not going to show you guys this whole thing. You guys have to pay for the service, but this is what I mean when I'm talking about the grind. Confidence seems to slowly return to the market after late macro fears spurred a rotation away from risk assets. Bitcoin has traded sideways over the past 7 days with unusually low volatility. That's what I was feeling. And it's up 5%. In January, it outperformed the other crypto indexes, once again showing crypto market participants view it as the least risky cryptocurrency. The Gemini dollar is pretty good, even though I did notice it was up 1.5% the other day. Thank you, CoinStats, for sending me that. Bitcoin exchange traded products, ETPs, see slight outflows, yada, yada, yada. I thought this was interesting. This is what they consider the top 3 news stories from the week. I thought that was interesting. We're going to talk about all these stories today, actually, randomly. If for different reasons, I wanted to pull them up. The state center introduced the bill to make Bitcoin legal tender in Arizona. FTX, FTT token that's going to come back. We're going to look at it here in a second. Diem confirmed shutdown. We're going to talk about that as well. TJ is very passionate about Facebook, so I can't wait to get there. Is the risk appetite increasing again? Now, I thought this was really fascinating when you look over here at the correlation of Bitcoin and look at ETH. ETH making some positive moves here. See, BNB moved 2%, Bitcoin 5%, ETH 12%. Pretty interesting. Is ETH ready to make a comeback? Bitcoin has traded sideways over the past 7 days. We already talked about that. After the FOMC meeting, didn't provide any big surprises, which I don't know why people thought that was going to happen. ETH is the winner of the top 3 coins with market cap of 12%. Metaverse tokens. Don't forget, guys, check out Meta Money. You guys go to BitBoy Crypto YouTube channel. You can check out Meta Money. This is new money, gang. They rebranded. They're only talking metaverse stuff now. Excited. Channel is moving in the right direction. I think this is a great thing. So if you're interested in metaverse stuff, make sure to check out Meta Money. They're almost to 50,000 subscribers. Let's try to get them there. But the point here is this. Last week, by the top 50, the top performing coins were Decentraland, Sandbox, and FTX token, which is FTT. You look down here, the layer 1 projects have gotten crushed over the last few weeks. Terra, Cosmos, and Phantom, down 42%, 12%, 11% for the year. But remember, Cosmos is down after a huge run-up, which I think started before the end of the year, so that number might be a little skewed. Phantom, kind of the same thing. Terra has gotten crushed, no question about that. Didn't really make sense to me with some SEC action, why Terra was moving forward so quickly, but it's still a top 10 project. So it's meta money. We show you guys how to make money with the metaverse. All right, that's Jay Chains and Brian Emery. Does Brian Emery have a name?
You mean like Emery XP?
Emery XP.
Yeah.
Does that stand for experience points?
Yeah, it can be experience.
Is he into gaming and stuff?
Yeah, he loves gaming.
Weird. Layer 1s were the best performers of 2021, but had a rough start to 2022. This, in my opinion, means incredible opportunity for Layer 1s. There may be much better opportunities if Bitcoin crashes. But in the history of this channel, in the history of my investing in crypto, my number one best performing bags and all my biggest bags outside of XRP, well, you can make an argument XRP is a Layer 1, are Layer 1 protocols. That's it. I would put XRP slightly in a different category, but it is what it is. So a lot of good stuff in this article. We've got this talking about, Bitcoin being a safe haven.
And just real quick,
Yes.
I'm going to just run through that list for people just to get a little perspective. That'd be Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, Cosmos, eGold. All of those have been probably
Algorand,
Algo, HBAR. Those two haven't hit the same way that the first ones. I'm just trying to read up. Those first ones I listed are by far our highest profiting, excluding Bitcoin, of course, projects we've invested in.
Yeah, Elrond, a crusher for us.
Yeah.
Done very well. Harmony One, another one that did pretty well. We didn't have as big of an investment in the beginning, but so we love Layer 1s. They're the future. Market sentiment carefully improving. This is what I was talking about earlier. You see down here, we're slowly starting to move the fear and greed index back up. Looks like a bottom here. Looks like a bottom. We got a low, a higher low, a high, a higher high. I don't know if you can read the fear and greed index the same way you read another chart, but I think you can. Bitcoin trading volume returning to normal. Lowest 7-day volatility in 15 months. Now, if you go back 15 months, where does that put us? 15 months would, if it's February, that would put us in October or November, depending on how you count the months of 2020, which all of those people that invested during that time, they absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, they're pretty happy.
Yeah, absolutely. ETPs, Bitcoin Fidelity rejected, yada, yada, yada. That was all I wanted to show. So that's from Arcane Research. So check them out. Like I said, I have no affiliation. They may hate me. I don't know. But they do good research there. Glassnode. I want to show you guys this. Total transfer volume to OTC desks. Now, if you don't know OTC, that means over the counter. And we're going to be on Signs of Moon for almost the whole show. Just so you know, TJ.
Lots of signs of
moon. I mean, we got a lot of really good stories to cover here. We got at least, 3 or 4 more here. But Bitcoin total transfer volume to OTC. Now, OTC is over the counter. This means money that is moved into or out of crypto and outflow. This is the transfer volume to. So this is outflow to OTC desks. These are for big purchases, big transactions. These do not occur on exchanges. What happens, you get these OTC desks. They have individual traders they work with to fill orders and make it happen. So they've got like a web. You can kind of think of Bitcoin as decentralized with all these nodes. Kind of think of OTC desks. They're not decentralized, but kind of in the same way. Instead of nodes, they've got all these individual owners of all these different cryptos everywhere, and they go to those and make individual trades. And one of the cool things about the OTC desk is it doesn't crash the market. So if you've got a big amount that you want to sell and you don't want to crash, like let's say you're in a micro cap and you don't want to crash it. Well, depends on what you mean by micro cap. I mean, if it's got $1,500 in it, you're going to crash it if you sell it. But if something's like a $7 million market cap and you're like, well, I just want to kind of cash out of some of it, you can go there and do that, and they'll spread it out over a long time, and they don't necessarily crush the market. I want to show you guys this because it looks like to me, if you go back and look at kind of, I would say in between about September and January of 2020, So September of 2019 to January 2020, these were the absolute darkest times of the bear market because people felt like the price should be going up and it wasn't. The cycles were kind of indicating that like it should go up and it wasn't. So it was very sad. This is when I was questioning like, what am I doing with my life? Should I be quitting YouTube? Like at the time I was like a 36-year-old man or 37-year-old man who had a failed YouTube channel to my name, like that's what I had at that point. It felt very dark, very sad. But if you go back to the bottom of this OTC volume, you'll see that was actually when things really started picking up. January, we moved up. Of course, we had the market crash, so you had people sending money in to dump the market. Looks kind of like a bottom over here, looks kind of a similar bottom to what we saw back during that time. So, is this the beginning of another run up? We don't really know, but I thought that was interesting. That was one chart that I noticed. Bitcoin whales buy at 38K as Bitcoin supply per whale hits 10-year high. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about how, this doesn't necessarily, in a bear market, you do have whale addresses go up for a while. But this was significant because I think this says what we all know about Bitcoin to be true. Unfortunately, as much as we would love for it to be totally decentralized and a money for the people, there are some problems. And when you're looking at the average supply per whale hitting a 10-year high, what does that mean? It means the rich getting richer. And I want to point to this all the time, especially when I talk to the Bitcoin maximalists. Like they really believe, this is the people's money and all this stuff. Well, no, they got a big spot on the network. But your average person can't go buy a $38,000 Bitcoin. And anyone in 2019 and beyond that was able to create a wallet that was a top 100 Bitcoin wallet out of thin air, they're all the people we don't want to have Bitcoin. They're what the people we need to push the price of Bitcoin up, the institutions, but it's not what we want for the freedom of the people. I get back to this conversation of, this is a battle in the midst of a much larger war. I think Bitcoin and crypto, I want to make a bold statement here. I believe that Bitcoin and the world of crypto and the world of blockchain, I think this is where our entire next, I don't know if you want to call it a world war, if you want to call it great reset, this is the crux of everything. This is where everything will meet that will determine the way that people are living for the next several hundred years. Are you living under a rule? Are you living in a place where you can't make decisions for yourself? Are you living in a place where you have zero privacy? Are you living in a place where, you're locked down? You're just at the whim of whatever your government tells you to do? Or do we move to a more advanced place where we as individuals in society are able to play a role in our own destiny, like we did for hundreds of years? But over the last 100 years, that seems to have changed quite significantly. And I got some more stuff to say about a great reset, later on that comes from a question. I thought about making a video about a question. Do you guys want, by the way, this is something I want to ask the BitSquad. Do you guys want me to do videos where I address questions from the audience? Like I'll take one question, maybe from the live chat or maybe from a Q&A, and I'll answer it in a video form. I think that might be some pretty cool content because we had some really great questions at our meetup. And do we have our graphic for the LA meetup?
I'm
not quite
sure.
done yet.
I don't. I mentioned it to Steven yesterday. I think he has all the information. So.
Meetup next Thursday night in Santa Monica. We will have the details for that on the show tomorrow for sure. Crypto Wendy going to be there. Altcoin Daily is going to be there. DZ, J Chains, me, we're all going to be there. My wife's going to be there. It's going to be very exciting. We're really, really looking forward to it. So we'll have an Eventbrite for that tomorrow. Excuse me, not yesterday. Okay. Fidelity. Here's some bullish stuff from the people that we don't want to have Bitcoin. Fidelity. Bitcoin is a superior form of money. And this really just goes to hammer the point that I just made. I just made this point that they want to come from the inside, right? They want to come from the inside. They want to own through ownership, having a big supply. They want to tell you how great it is. They want to tickle your ears. But meanwhile, what is Fidelity doing in the background? I don't know the answer to that question. I know they do custodianship, but I do know they are part of the financial machine in America. But Bitcoin clearly possesses a lot of good qualities of money, combining the scarcity and durability of gold with the ease of use, storage, and transportability of fiat. And this is where Fidelity says, here, let us tell you this, tell you how great it is Now let's go and control it from the inside. So they said, we won't be so bold as to predict there will only ever be one money, but we do believe that one monetary good will come to dominate the digital asset ecosystem due to the very, very powerful effects of networks. We've been telling you guys for a long time that we are going to see a one world currency at some point. Not a conspiracy. I'm not going new world order on you. If you think about a borderless digital economy that we live in, it makes total sense just from a logical perspective. We do know this has been in the plan since the 80s. The Economist put out a big article. A lot of you guys know, like, had a phoenix on the cover. This is not conspiracy theory stuff. This will be coming. We now have the tech to make it happen. And they've already said this is what they want to do. MicroStrategy buys additional $25 million worth of Bitcoin during the market dip. The acquisition rate in January was markedly lower than December. So company paid an average price of $37,865 per Bitcoin. Which, by the way, we have been compiling that list of questions you guys gave on our Twitter yesterday to ask Michael Saylor. I did see Will Clement said he interviewed Michael Saylor for 2 hours. Yeah, 24 questions, and he got to 3 of them. He said, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, this guy's built different. Yeah. So I'm going to try to do my best to tame Michael Saylor and get him to answer those questions. So maybe what we have to do is we have to do like a 9-hour interview with him and then edit it down to the answers for the questions. I'm just kidding, Mike. We love you, Mike. We love Michael Saylor on the channel. One of my favorite people I ever interviewed. It's such a, it's like he plays hard to get with the laughs. Mm-hmm. He plays hard to get. So, if you get him to crack a smile, you've really done something. This is the actual document, as a public company, MicroStrategy has to disclose when they bought these. So this is the actual, document. I guess this goes to the IRS. This goes to a Form 8K. So here you can see, the actual document where they purchased it. It's available on their website. I like that they do that. So this is very interesting, guys. This is very interesting. NYDIG unveils Bitcoin savings plan for employee benefit programs. So we're going to do something on this show today that I never thought I would do in my entire life. Businesses owned by Drew Brees and Tillman Fertitta. No idea who that is. No offense. Among the first to let their employees get paid in Bitcoin. # paid in Bitcoin. NYDIG, which, sounds like a wide receiver route. A leading Bitcoin company announced today the launch of a Bitcoin savings plan to let employees of leading companies get paid in Bitcoin. A Bitcoin savings plan is an exciting employee benefit that allows an employee to convert a portion of their paycheck to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is held on the same secure, regulated NYDIG platform used today. Some people pronounce it NYDIG, I think, by some of the largest banks and companies in the world. Among the first to offer the benefits are companies owned by NFL superstar Drew Brees, who will be using a Bitcoin savings plan to convert a portion of his compensation to Bitcoin. Are we doing that today?
If it makes sense.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Okay.
I want to take a minute to check it out first. Several companies Drew is involved with will also be making the optional benefit available, including Everbowl and Stretch Zone. So Stretch Zone, we got one of those local here. You know what Stretch Zone is?
I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's a stretching place. Like, we get stretched once a week at the gym. There's a place that's all they do is stretch people.
Yeah, I think Shelby used to open them up.
Hey, what if we did our own competitor and we called it Stretch Armstrongs? I think that's probably branded. But if that's my last name,
it's probably trademarked. But it'd probably hit.
So here's what I want to do. I want to tweet Drew Brees right now. I followed him this morning. You guys can see her on Twitter. I followed Drew Brees. I never thought I would follow Drew Brees. Drew Brees, you were a saint for a long time. You'll probably die a saint in your heart. I hate the Saints more than anything in the world. And while you were playing, I really never wanted to see you succeed. It made me sad when you made records because I'm a Falcons fan. And I think that's the way that you would want it. But today, I'm going to tweet at you to come on my show. I would love for you to come talk about this, why you think a Bitcoin savings plan is important. And I would like for you to come talk. And we can hash this out. We can, what's the expression?
Chop it up?
Put an axe in it? No, that's not right.
Bury the hatchet?
Yes. Let's bury the hatchet. Can't believe I said that. Put an axe in it. Hey, it means the same thing. Let's bury the hatchet and let's get you on the show to talk about Bitcoin, why you're excited about it, talk about your companies, talk about the savings plan. So let's get Drew Brees to come on the channel and talk Bitcoin. Maybe even football. Time to bury the hatchet. Definitely gonna, or put an axe in it, between one of the greatest QBs of all time. See, I'm buttering him up a little bit. QBs of all time, and a lifelong Falcons fan. I liked him when he was in San Diego.
Yeah.
Falcons fan.
I liked that.
Retweet and at him to help get him on the show. All right, so here we go. We tweeted it. Now I'm going to pin it until tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to pin it until tomorrow.
That was the only thing I liked about his success, was the fact that he could kind of throw it in San Diego's face. Like, they were letting him go because they didn't think he was a future franchise quarterback, and then he goes on to be one of the probably better all-stars, greatest.
If he wasn't on the Saints, I would have loved it. He's the exact kind of quarterback and player I really like.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he just was on the wrong team. They only won one Super Bowl, so that definitely eased my pain a little bit. But Saints got one before the Falcons did. That makes my heart sigh, or my heart sad on the inside. So I just pinned that. So if you guys go to my Twitter, you guys will find that at the top. Let's get Drew Brees on the channel. Would love to do that. Hey, we do the same thing with Tom Brady afterwards, and LeBron. Let's get LeBron on. All right, so here we go. Let's move on. Russia houses $200 billion worth of crypto, Kremlin estimates. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I didn't even laugh when I wrote LOL. That's probably true. I'm going to say something from some what I understand to be true, which is the United States owns a lot of undisclosed crypto. Okay, maybe the SEC should go after the United States.
That would be good.
The United States owns. We know that they've got some. Somebody says Rams about to get theirs. Go Rams. Matthew Stafford, Sony Michel, Georgia Bulldogs. So I'm going to be pulling for them. No offense, like Joe Burrow too. But when it comes to this, the United States owns a lot of crypto. I've been told China owns 4 times as much crypto or Bitcoin specifically, as the United States does. We don't know where Russia falls in between them, behind them, ahead of them. I mean, this is a huge amount, though. Hold on a second here. Oh, it says worth of crypto. It doesn't say worth of Bitcoin. I was about to say, if that's $200 billion worth of Bitcoin, that's too much probably. It says Russians owned nearly 5 trillion rubles worth of crypto by 2021. Trillion rubles. Russian citizens reportedly own 16.5 trillion rubles, 214 billion worth of crypto. Now, this is talking about the citizens, so I don't know how this plays in to the actual country itself. But one story a lot of you guys may not know, we've talked about it on the channel before. It's one of the most fascinating stories out there, which is the Bulgarian government. So if you didn't know, the Bulgarian government basically was able to seize 200,000 Bitcoin from criminals in May of 2017. Okay. So think about that, 200,000 Bitcoin. What is that of the supply? A 1.5%? I mean, of actual liquid Bitcoins, it would be actual, like, because we think there's about, let's just call it 15 million. They had 200,000. That would be 33, a fifth of 33. What is a fifth of 33? 6.1%. That would have been that would have been even higher at the time, because there were only like probably 15 million Bitcoin in circulation at that time, and probably only about 11 or 12 of those were actual liquid. And what we mean by that is there's supposedly 4 million Bitcoin that's missing, that people lost on exchanges or on wallets, never get back because they lost it at a time where they thought it wasn't worth anything. So when people were mining Bitcoin on their laptops, but they were actually sitting on $3 billion worth of Bitcoin that today would actually be probably more like $10 billion worth of Bitcoin, somewhere around there. So we don't know a lot about transparency from countries regarding the amount of Bitcoin that they own. And I think that's a really fascinating thing is, our governments, they want us to disclose everything. Obviously they're taxing us, but, what are our governments doing to tell us how much they own? Because don't you feel like our government owning a certain amount of Bitcoin would have a certain effect on the market? If it came out that America had, let's say, $50 billion worth of Bitcoin, don't you think that would give a lot of confidence to the market that, wow, look how much America owns? Now, a lot of this, including from the Bulgarian government, it was seized in raids. So the Bulgarian government actually raided organized crime. They're not sitting on this much anymore. This was 5 years ago, 4 years and 2 months ago. Is that right? No, 5 years and 2 months ago now. They actually paid off, I think, a quarter of their national debt with that Bitcoin.
Jeez.
That's insane. A quarter of their national debt with that Bitcoin. But I think we should demand that our countries give us transparency on how much Bitcoin they own. We know how much money the government owns, right? In terms of cash, we know their budget. We know how much money the Federal Reserve has on the books. I assume there's probably a way to track how much gold the United States has. Why is Bitcoin different? Somebody said in the chat, they always, it's always what they say, not what they do. And I think that's really important. But I think this is a big movement. Maybe we should start pushing for is to find out, how much Bitcoin these countries own, whether it's on the books from, seizures or whether it is, through purchases. Do you think, TJ, that the government has actually bought Bitcoin?
Like purchased it OTC or something?
I mean, I don't think they're buying it on Binance.
Yeah, I mean,
they can't,
yeah,
Binance US.
I think you would get into that category where you get real gray on what's the government. Is NSA, CIA, Black Ops kind of thing. Is that considered government or is it off the books?
Yeah, I wonder. I think at some point they'll have to annex crypto holdings to the Fed balance sheet. Wouldn't you think so?
You'd think. Yeah.
I mean, is gold on the Fed balance sheet?
I would imagine this is part of why they don't want a lot of clarity with a lot of this stuff, because then it backs them into a corner of what they can and can't do.
And if you think about it this way as well, it actually, number one, from a transparency perspective, if countries may be able to use blockchain, the ledgers, to look up all the movement of the money from, if they can figure out what what addresses the United States owns, that would be really interesting. But beyond that, it's almost like spy ops in a way, right? Because what the United States is wanting, that's maybe not the right word, but like war games kind of. If the United States or any other country, I'm just saying United States because I live here, if they were to reveal how much Bitcoin they have before, let's say, North Korea wouldn't play ball, whatever, but before China reveals how much they own, then not that they ever will necessarily, but that might be like, China could be like, oh, they only own this much, we own this much, let's use this to our advantage. So, but I do think this is, maybe we should make a video on this. I think this is a very interesting idea. Maybe we start a movement to call for the government to be transparent with what crypto they own.
Be interesting.
Would be interesting. There was I moved that story somewhere else. Okay. So that was pretty much it with that. Let's move on to Kanye here. I found this here. Kanye West, this was on Reddit. You guys know they've built a shrine to me there on the cryptocurrency subreddit. It's an NFT. It's just a JPEG. Kanye West says, do not ask him to make a freaking NFT. He would rather make products that are real, such as real music, real food, real clothes, and real shelter. Kanye, another person I would love to get on the channel. Kind of controversial. I idolize is way too strong of a word, but I definitely look up to Kanye for a lot of things. I think I do think he's a genius. I really do. And I think, he's goes off his rocker here and there, but I think that's what, some of the smartest people in the history of the world do. And I think in terms of creativity, he falls in that category, like it or not. I'd love to hear his thoughts on some of this. And I'm going to tell you why I think he said this here in a minute. But I was going down on Reddit, not looking for mentions of me. And they said here, well, if by NFTs he's referring to these stupid, low effort JPEGs, then he's right. Which is, or you could say JPEGs also. And I think that here is the thing, okay? when it comes to NFTs, we do want to get out of this place where there's no utility. When we do NFT projects, there's utility behind them. Take the DGD Labs, the Players Lounge, the NFTs that they sold. 50% of all the profits went to the players. By the way, we did all that for free. We didn't get a single dime for any of that from working with them. Super successful launch. It was really cool. Like I said, big stuff coming on with that. But there was utility, right? The money goes to the players to support the colleges. When you are buying one of those NFTs, you're specifically supporting the players on the team through the NIL agreement that is now recently, been approved and it stands for name, image, likeness for the NCAA. So the point here I'm making is this. Yes, we don't want things out there that are simply JPEGs that don't have utility behind them. They're not going to last. We must see an evolution in NFTs. We must see an evolution where we're moving to a higher standard. Digital ownership NFTs that are not collectibles, not art, that's all coming in the future as well. But I'll tell you why I think Kanye said this. Number one, I mean, I think I gave a pretty good reason for, why he wouldn't want to just do something stupid or simple. But he put this on his Instagram right here, okay? It says, my focus is on building real products, that can look like an A there, in the real world, real food, real clothes, real shelter. Do not ask me to do an effing NFT. Yay. Ask me later. I love that. It's a nice signature there. If you notice, it's like me without the first leg there. Yay. Interesting. What is your first thought when you read this, TJ? I know how to pronounce JPEGs, guys. Chill.
There it is. My mic was cutting out. Sorry.
Our Elian NFT project, Lunar Alliance.
Yeah.
Lots of utility, not just a JPEG.
Right. My first thought is he's going to do one later. He's going to do it well, and he's going to do it right. That's when I see "ask me later."
Yeah,
that's what I think.
So somebody said, ironically, this will become an NFT.
Of course, yeah. I think he's building hype.
So here's what I think. Here's my opinion. He sounds annoyed. He sounds like, in my opinion, that so many people are coming up to him and trying to do this to make money off of his name.
Oh, for sure.
And he's not ready to move in this direction yet. He will eventually. The Ask Me Later is very bullish at saying eventually. Right now, this is his focus. And I think also,
almost get out of my face with all that crap.
Yeah. And I think here, one thing he's saying, like real clothes, real shelter, real food, is, he wants to help people with his money as well. Right. He wants to help people with his money. And right now, NFTs aren't really, they're just developing use case. We're going to have Stephen Garbett from the U.S. Olympic team, a previous Olympian in the last Olympics. He's going to be coming on the show on Friday. He's going to be here in studio to talk about what they're doing with his NFT and Discord project. That is going to be really interesting. Very similar. You're going to see a lot of parallels with what Aaron Murray and the guys behind the Players Lounge are doing with NFTs for college athletes. This is for Olympians to be able to make money, not individual Olympians to sell their own NFT. There may be some of that in the future, but basically there will be governance in a Discord community that will pick which Olympians they want to see funded. So many Olympians drop out and do not pursue the Olympics and a career in their sports because they're amateurs and they don't get paid. The amount of time investment, even if you make the highest peak and win gold medals, outside of being maybe Lindsey Vonn or Usain Bolt, not Usain, Usain Bolt, or Michael Phelps, outside of those Ryan Lochte level of athletes, the vast majority of the Olympians don't have any money. And this is a way to fund them so we get to continue seeing the best athletes, right? So there are some things out there to help people, but I think this is kind of what he's saying right now. He's focused on the real world because there's real problems out there that are bigger than what NFTs are trying to solve. I think I could change his mind on that, though. And one thing to keep in mind also is, wait, that is not, where is this story here? Here it is. Creators, this is why charities in crypto get bad names. Creators of NFT project Doodle Dragons promised to donate all profits to charities protecting animals. After collecting money, of that, our charity will now be my bank account.
Yeah.
Guys, we have told you this for a long time. Stay away from charity cryptocurrencies, charity NFT projects. If it's a community like what we're talking about, it's a little bit different. But things that say, we're going to donate all of the profits, they're not all scams, but the vast majority of those are scams. Why? They are preying on people's desire to help others to make money for themselves. So I say, like, this right here doesn't surprise me they did this. Whenever a place is just doing NFT, says we're going to give it all away, they're probably not going to. They're using it for clout to make money and get out. So, all right, let's move on here. Bitcoin legal tender in Arizona, not officially yet, but U.S. Senator Wendy Rogers introduces bill to accept Bitcoin as legal tender in state of Arizona. This has not, in fact, been voted on yet. But after El Salvador, could the U.S. state of Arizona become the following territory to make Bitcoin legal tender? Senator Wendy Rogers, a Republican, is that once again, we're seeing this, crypto becoming a political issue. There was a big article on the New York Times about calling Bitcoin alt-right. Calling Bitcoin alt-right.
Wow.
Think about that.
That's crazy.
You're seeing battle lines, and that's why we really encourage, if you are if you're a Democrat as a politician, whether on the state or federal level, you need to be careful with this. You're playing with fire if you try to make this a political issue, and we have Republicans on one side and Democrats on the other. We must stay united in this. Do not allow them to divide us. That is what I would say to you. But anyways, a Republican has introduced a new Senate bill which would make Bitcoin legal tender across the Grand Canyon state. SB 1341 seeks to amend the list of accepted legal tender to include Bitcoin, which means the crypto would be accepted by paying a debt, public charges, taxes, and other dues. She's been quite controversial, involving conspiracy theories on many subjects, blah, 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 blah. They try to throw her under the bus here. And here we go. There, once again, look what they're trying to do. Trying to tie Bitcoin to alt-right, trying to tie Bitcoin to QAnon, trying to tie Bitcoin to conspiracy theories. This is ridiculous. We've got to stop this before it becomes a very large problem. The U.S. Constitution, an obstacle to the adoption of Bitcoin, a provision of the U.S. Constitution, coinage power, which is Section 8, Clause 5 of Article 1, explicitly excludes the possibility for a state of the United States to adopt any currency as legal tender other than the U.S. dollar. So, this could be a thing where we see it on the state level, and we need more movement on the federal level to make this actually be official. Kind of like we talked about in Georgia, we had this really quirky law where we have voted in daylight savings time. So when we change in the spring, theoretically, we should never change again. However, we're not allowed as a state to do that. The federal government only allows states to do it the opposite way, to do the regular time where it gets dark earlier year round, which is stupid. I don't know why anybody wants that. Hey, do you like being depressed? Are you emo? Are you goth? Do you listen to Bring Me the Horizon? So the point here is that they're going to, they could vote this in, but the federal government may have to make some changes to the Constitution or make a clause to the amendment to include digital currency in order to make this actually happen. So very interesting on that front. I haven't read anything about when this happens. I'm going to try to reach out to Wendy Rogers. I'm going to try to see if I can get her on the channel. Hopefully they won't ban my channel because, if one person writes that they're QAnon, then, everybody thinks they are. So
yeah, you just
I don't know what she said. I don't know her personally, but I would love to have her on to talk about this bill for sure.
Yeah, just saying it's probably not good.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's
canon. Would you call it canon? But anyways, yeah, you're probably right. I probably should have never said that. Didn't even think about that.
Better you than me.
I'll never say it again on the channel.
Yeah.
YouTube overlords, please. I'll never say it again.
Yeah.
All right. Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming said, or tweeted this from Bitcoin Magazine. Texas governor, Bitcoin can stabilize the energy grid. So there's a whole thread about it. We know Texas is very bullish on Bitcoin. India Oh, I thought this was Indiana. I'm just kidding. I didn't really think that. India finally warms to crypto with tax and digital currency. Income for virtual assets to be taxed at 30%. Whenever they're taxing it, they're giving it legitimacy. So I thought they were banning crypto every other day. Now it looks like they're moving a little closer towards real, acceptance of Bitcoin. So, all right, let's go to this here. Mark Zuckerberg's. We won't spend too much time here. But Mark Zuckerberg's stablecoin we talked about last week, it looked like this was happening. Radio Face Crypto says, I just pulled out of a dock.
A parking
What
deck.
was his name?
Deck.
And went to close my doors, and Ben's voice is echoing off all the buildings. Sounds like a stadium, and I like it. When is Bitboy Crypto Stadium coming?
2020.
Let me tell you what we need to do. We need to start with a minor league team. Let's see if we can get naming rights to a minor league stadium. Do y'all like that idea? Because TJ's like hesitating.
No, I'm
because he thinks it'll cost a lot of money.
No, it won't cost a lot of money. It's probably dirt cheap.
Yeah,
I just don't know if it's
probably. To start?
I think we could go. I don't think we even need to do that. Is what I was going to say. I think we could go pretty. Let's just look at. I was going to say after the next, 2024, 2025. We can probably get it on a real one in 2025.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, as long as Bitcoin's not at $800. What are they saying about Trail Grinders kids? Is he wants to be on our? They want to be on our esports team. I missed all that. My son says he's ready to do a YouTube channel. They're learning how to edit, so
nice.
You may be seeing the Madden channel here pretty soon. Diem officially shuts down. Meta has officially given up on its stablecoin project Diem after 2 years to launch the crypto. Meta, which is a very sore subject around here, formerly branded as Facebook, has officially announced the closure of its digital currency project Diem. Somebody said they sold it to Silvergate. Yeah, it is true. We remain confident in the potential for a stablecoin operating on a blockchain design like Diem's to deliver the benefits that motivated the Diem Association from the beginning. With today's sale, Silvergate will be well placed to take this vision forward. Silvergate is a bank, is a digital asset bank. Do you remember, did we have issues with them when we were trying to get an account there? It just didn't work. Do you remember?
No, at the time, they just had an insane demand.
Yeah.
And I think you needed to open an account of at least 10 million, and we weren't ready to do that yet.
Trail Grinder wants me to sponsor his son's travel team.
Oh.
Yeah. Who can you send an email to? Do we have that email up and running yet?
Giving at BitBoyCrypto.
Is it up and running?
I don't know. I don't
think it is yet.
I don't think it. Do it tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow. Trail Grinder, listen tomorrow. We're going to tell you where you can send an email. Or if you reach out to me on Twitter, I will go through my message requests and I will we'll get that conversation going. Okay. So yeah, Facebook failed. Great job. I love it. Can you put a poll in the chat? I'm not trying to bring up past scars between
Yeah,
these
you
two.
are. Yeah,
I'm not. I really want to know. I was really thinking about this. I legitimately want to know. I'm not going to pressure him one way or the other. Here's a question. Do you believe Facebook has peaked as a company? Yes or no? Now, I want to see what the general sentiment. I know if we asked in here, do you like Facebook as a company? I know it would come back at least 90% no. Maybe 10% of people would just be devil's advocate or argumentative.
This is going to be a slant. We agree on this.
That it's peaked as a company, completely peaked.
Yeah, we both agreed on that.
Oh, we did? I can't remember what we agreed on.
I know.
We almost came to blows over this, guys.
That's what I was getting at. You weren't really listening to what I was saying.
Well, you know what, TJ? I'm a great listener. I come from the Chinese year of the dog. I know it's the year of the tiger now. I was born in the Chinese year of the dog. One of the things of people born in that year, they're good listeners.
Oh.
So, puts it to bed right there, doesn't it?
Does it?
Okay. All right, moving on here. Let's talk about Solana versus ETH. And I think there's really, we're going to have to kind of go through this pretty quick here. But TVL, network outages or derivatives, what's behind Solana's 60% drop? Guys, we have to separate these issues. We have to separate a price drop away from the fundamentals and the use case and the future and the potential of a project. Okay, what I mean by that is the reason why Solana dropped 60% is because it was overheated and the entire market crashed. That's why it dropped 60%. Solana did not drop 60% based upon anything that it did. It didn't drop because of these outages. Now, did it have some effect? It probably had some effect, but that's like going into, in the middle of 2021 being like, why did Ethereum go up over the last year? Why did that happen? It doesn't make any sense. The whole market moved up. Now, you can definitely pose that backwards question. You can say, like, why did Dragon Chain not moon? Or, why did VeChain not hit the marks that we get close to the marks we thought it would? Why did I think Chainlink would get to $900? It got to 50, Like, you can ask those questions, but you can't say, what's up with a 60% drop when the entire market crashes? It doesn't make any sense. From the fundamental perspective, though, there are things to be worried about when it comes to the competition between Solana and other layer ones, mainly Ethereum, okay? They've had multiple outages at this point. They've had big problems. I think they had some NFT issues, maybe, if I remember correctly. I can't remember what exactly it was. They've had a lot of their projects have done pretty well, but they've obviously had a lot of pullbacks. This is the Solana futures and open interest. You can see it's on the way down from the peak in the middle of the year, but it's not rocket science to find out why it dropped. But they're continuing to move forward. We like Solana. We like the chain. We like projects on Solana. We like Radium. We think it's going to be one of the best projects of the year, not financial advice. Solana Pay launches to expand e-commerce market for crypto. So Solana is working together to create this thing called Solana Pay. It's a peer-to-peer payments infrastructure designed to enable global market of online merchants and point-of-sale providers the ability to accept and settle payment transactions in a, look at that word, panoply. Panoply? Monopoly has an O in it. So this is panoply? I guess it has an O in it too. Let's see. That's weird. Never heard of that word before. I mean, I assume it means a collection of, various areas, in this case of, the chain or the market.
Right.
But have you ever seen that word before?
Mm-mm.
It's a great word. I love it. Panoply. It sounds like, what they would, if you played Monopoly with pans. So, they've got other things, NFLopoly,
or maybe
Bitcoinopoly,
if you ever
Panopoly.
put Monopoly boards together and you play a giant game of Monopoly, that's maybe Panopoly.
I want to know how many of you guys had heard of the word Panoply. Panoply? Panoply? That's okay. I don't even know. Point is, Solana's moving forward. They've had issues. They've had hiccups. Ethereum also has as well. Ethereum has the longevity. It has the first mover advantage. It has the higher number of developers. It's got the tenure, I guess. They've got E 2.0 coming up. They got a lot of exciting stuff too. Can the Ethereum price reach 4K after a triple support bounce? So once again, talk about the fundamentals. We believe Solana, it has hiccups. We believe it's good. We think it can compete with Ethereum. I believe Ethereum wins out. I think Cardano will and Solana are the closer pair to watch. But now we're talking about the price. Can it reach 4K? I will tell you this, if Ethereum hits 4K, you should be taking profits. Not all profits, keep money in, but you should be taking profits. Is a classic bullish reverse pattern in the works. Guys, we bounced right off the support line for Ethereum, off the 21-month EMA and the 0.786 fib line. Looking pretty good. We could see the price. We're seeing the price bounce back pretty good. I'm going to fly through this here. People talk about CRO so much, I was shocked to find it at 43 cents. With the explosion of Crypto.com, is there any reason CRO wouldn't keep growing for the long term? Now, if you guys don't know, we talk about it all the time. We are ambassadors with Crypto.com. I mean, partner. We're ambassadors. We're not a partner, but we look at them certainly as a partner to us. We love Crypto.com. I love seeing the growth. I've been working with Crypto.com since before anybody knew who they were, right? Very few people. You only knew who Crypto.com was because you knew that they were going to come out with a card, and you knew they paid a lot of money, $12 million for the domain, Crypto.com. That's what you knew about it, okay? But when it comes to things like Crypto.com, it's much more important that we focus on the building out of the platform than where is the price at today. People don't necessarily need to be worried about the price because the price is rolled into kind of the value of what Crypto.com does. We got to focus on what they're doing, the user acquisition, the marketing, and then that will tell you whether this is a project you want to get behind and support. And I think something very key is if we go back to the, did I close it? No, if we go back to the Arcane research where we were talking about the top coins of the week, and you look here and you look at this, FTX token. This is one of our #1 picks for the entire year. We think FTT is going to have a massive year. Why? I give up. Paywall? Paywall? Really? Paywall? Other options? Is there an option to not? Arcane research. Why would you put an article that has a paywall? And if I just Google FTX 32 billion, it will come right up. We actually covered this story last week here. Cryptocurrency exchange FTX hits $32 billion valuation despite bear market fears. Now, I want to be clear on this. We have no affiliation to FTX. We may work with them down the road. We like what they're doing with marketing and athletes as well, and naming stadiums. They're doing sports stuff. We like that, but we have no relationship to FTX. Never talked to Sam or anything like that. We'd like to get him on the channel for an interview here soon. But the point is, FTX is another one of these companies, okay? They are building something extremely big that's going to be used by a lot of people. That's where the value comes in. It's not in a speculative price bubble. This is why we're so bullish on CRO. This is why we're so bullish on FTT. We're bullish on Crypto.com and FTX as companies. And we don't see really the end in height. They said the paywall was bullish. Must have been good information. That was funny. So that's what we're seeing with these companies. And we think there are definitely ones to watch here. FTT, one we loaded up on back in December. Probably going to try to load up some more at some point. You know, if we do get confirmation that things are generally moving back in the right direction. Why, TJ, one quick question before we move to Q&A here.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you believe that Coinbase doesn't have its own token? We know they have USDC, right? But there's not like value proposition, and it allows them to create more trading on their site.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at FTT and you look at CRO and you look at, some of these other, the Huobi token, you look at Leo from Bitfinex, these do very well over time. Why do you think Coinbase opted to not do one like this? Or do you think in the future they may?
I think they opted to go the traditional route and IPO, and coin on the stock market would be their coin, so to speak, their token. But I think if they launched a token, they wouldn't have been able to get their IPO, or it would have been much more difficult to get their IPO. So I think they're trying to play
but isn't that what FTX is talking? Like, they're looking at an evaluation.
It is. So there is a route to get both done. I think, excuse me. I think they just both wanted to, they wanted to be first.
Be blessed.
Thank you. And I think they wanted to keep riding that first mover advantage and let the other ones try to catch up to them. And then maybe they'll come back and ride come back and make a token later. But I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Pierre Poi here made a comment that got hidden that said, Coinbase is on the stock market, you idiot. Of course, we know that. Which, by the way, remember the Kathy Woods thing we were talking about last week, and I couldn't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. She did dump Tesla. I think it was in December, I think. She dumped Tesla huge, but you know what she also dumped? This is where my confusion of trying to remember the story came in. She also dumped Coinbase stock back when the price was bullish, I think in October and November. So, taking profits on that thing she was. So that's why people said that might have had, they were saying that could have had a negative effect on the overall crypto markets when she sold some of that stuff. But all right, let's do a Q&A real quick. I know we're way over time today.
Yeah, we are. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat right now. We'll try to work to them. First one from Roadblock Q&A, Decentraland or Sand? Which pick? You had to pick one.
I'm going to ask you an honest question, TJ.
Okay.
Have you ever seen gameplay from Decentraland?
No, I don't think there is.
Have you ever seen
well, actually, yes, I have. I have seen it.
When?
Not that long, like last week.
Oh, okay. The only time I've ever actually seen any visual representation of what is inside of Decentraland is back in 2018. That's the last time I remember seeing any of it. Meanwhile, how much have we seen from Sandbox? Tons.
Yeah.
Decentraland is pumped up by the Digital Currency Group and pumped up by early investors, and the price will continue to run. I believe that. I believe the price will go up. I think it is going to be a viable operator in the space. I think Sandbox is the people's metaverse.
Yeah, I would have made the same choice.
Oh.
For the same reason. There's actually gameplay on one.
Yeah, we can work together.
What does Ben think about the green days recently? In the past 10 days, we've closed 8 out of 10 green candles.
Very reminiscent of the end of summer. Very reminiscent of, that bear market phase that we were in. I still feel like I got to tell you, I feel 50-50 about it. I'm not ready to come out and say, like, I'm definitely bullish. Like, gun to my head today, I'm probably 51-49. I think we are going to go back up, but it can change with one news story or one price dump. I think that, we've got a long ways to go. Things feel very similar. I was getting a lot of information. Haven't really been getting lately when it came to the last run, and it turned out at least the bottom to the beginning of the run up turned up to be very accurate according to our sources. After that, there's all kind of factors why. Not saying the information was ultimately given wrongly, but what I will say is it did turn out to be, inaccurate according to, the predictions that we were given. So I would just say this. I would say it is time to watch. It's time to wait. Everybody was looking at March for, possible into the bull run maybe, but maybe we're going to see some different stuff. I mean, just think about this, TJ. Think about how bullish the market would turn all of a sudden, stock market included, if the Fed does come out in March and say, we decided to wait.
Oh, yeah.
That would turn things around. And I think that's really what we're waiting on. Now, that will be at the beginning of March. So that still will be in quarter one. But that's why you're seeing a lot of people, Benjamin Cowan included, saying, expect Q1 here to remain pretty bearish and sideways, not recover up to $50,000 during this time. I tend to agree with that. We'll have to see on next Tuesday what Blockchain Backer has to say. And I think George is coming on maybe on Thursday this week. So.
Nice. Two quick questions. If Coinbase did start their own token, would we buy? What do you think?
Well, look, I believe in nepotism and family. And my Uncle Brian, he puts out a token, I'm going to buy.
There you go.
Look, I do think we would certainly accumulate that token over time. I mean, there would be no reason for us not to. If we're going to buy into FTT, we would certainly buy into Coinbase. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think to answer my own question that I asked TJ, I align very closely with what he said on that, which is I believe Coinbase did not do their own token that fluctuates in price because they thought that would make their road to where they want to get to much easier. Coinbase is not focused on billions in the short term. I think they're focused on trillions in the future.
Yeah. And then final question. Q&A price prediction for ETH on Valentine's Day.
Guys, I'm going to predict it. $2,500 ETH by Valentine's Day. That's a good question. I do think we're still going to be sideways. I think we're going to see Ethereum in between $2,400 and $3,000. I know that's like a pretty big range. I tend to think we're going to be similar to where we are right now, $2,700, $2,800 for Ethereum. I will not be going shirtless and wear a Cuban costume this year, just so y'all know. But, who knows what's going to happen on Easter.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. We really need, but just special channel announcement here. You guys don't forget, number one, to go to our Twitter, and please make sure to retweet that Drew Brees chat. Let's see if we can get him on the channel. I did follow him, on Twitter, so he can send me a message if he'd like to come on the show. But I would also like to say we need more admins. A lot of our admins have, dropped off over the last year. Just that's what happens with people. Shannon going strong as an admin for sure. Definitely want to make It's the Boss one. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, let's do a big push tomorrow to maybe add 5 or 6 admins. Maybe we can have people nominate other people that they see in the chat a lot.
Cool.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds
okay.
Good.
All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Really excited. We're still in the new studio. The show feels really good now.
Yeah,
feels really good. Things are going in the positive direction. Thank you, everybody, for watching. That's all we got. Be blessed. We love you, Shannon. Good boy out.